right. All right, so we got our Dark World Duelist, Chase, profiling his Dark World list from our Dark World Showcase video.
Yes, so I'll preface this by saying I've already changed the build. This is the build that you saw in the showcase. The new build I think is just going to be more consistent, has less cheesy stuff. Well, while doing cheesy things is hilarious. I would rather the deck be more consistent than cheesy. So we'll get into it. Most of the Dark World cards are pretty standard. 3 Genta searches the field spell, not once per turn. It's pretty cool. 3 Brow, I bumped it up to 3 for the showcase because I just wanted to see Dark World names. This continues into the next list too. It's just a filter card, honestly. It's just draw 1. This 3 Snow, you want to search everything. 1 of this, beige.
The little beige man.
It's level 4, so it comes up with Genta, where Genta summons itself, and then you can discard this with Gates. This it summons, and then you can make Dugaras immediately. So that's
any,
mostly what it.
Rank 4 that you need.
Yeah, it's mostly because it summons itself and it's level 4. The 2 Silva, 3 Rainbow, and 3 Grapha. I want to play 2-3 or 2-3 somewhere like that. I haven't tested it yet, but I hate drawing like 2 of these and being like, ugh, my hand's kind of.
Like, what do you do with
the other 3 cards in your hand have to be really good for that to not be bad. We'll do those next. We'll move to dangers. I cut the dangers down, and in the next list that'll be featured, I cut it down even more. I think these cards are the worst cards in the deck, but they filter 1, so you got to play them, and they discard for effect, so you kind of have to play them. 3 Bigfoot, it kills Floodgates when it's discarded, and it doesn't have to go to the grave, so it outs Defy, Macro.
Any of those Floodgates you don't need.
You can activate it under Barrier Statue. I forget why, but that's the ruling. You can activate it under statue, and then if it's discarded, you pop the statue and you keep going.
It's so disgusting.
1 of this because it's level 8. Chupacabra, it's a fiend. It's level 4, and the 1 Jackalope because you want to summon level 8 most of the time for a card in your extra deck, and then 3 Nessie to search those. That's all the or not all the monsters, but. The non-Dark Worlds and non-Dangers, playing 2 Salamander. This card's really nice, but you only ever want to see it once, so it's going back down to 1 in the next list. But for this list, it was at 2. Then we played 1 of this cheeky card. This is the cheekiest card.
So people don't know.
This card, once per turn, you can just discard your entire hand. And it's for effect, not for cost. So it activates all the Dark Worlds, and it stays level 2, unlike Fabled Raven. So this card plus any level 8 makes Baron, which is really nice. The only problem is you have to discard your entire hand. So that part was kind of meh. In the next list, this does come out for Raven because Raven is slightly better. Also, Raven allows you to rank 4 extend again because it's level 2. If you discard exactly 2, you can use it and something else to make Dugaras. Whereas this only ever made
the Baron play.
Yeah. It's cheeky. I really like trying it out. We have the 1 Phantom Sky Blaster. This is coming out in the next list, but this I would consider putting back in the other list. If you have 1 monster, you summon this, and it's a 1 or 1.5 card Saruja, because it summons 2 tokens. You turn a token into the Link Spider, and then that's 4 monsters with different names for Saruja. So it kind of helps with your hands. And then the cheeky part was the Necomana King.
Yeah, explain the king.
The Grapha Fusion, this guy. If you control this and you activate it when your opponent, let's say they activate Rite of Armies, or you activate this, that card's effect becomes you discard a card, so you discard this, and then because this was sent to your graveyard by your opponent's card effect, it ends their turn. So the end board is this plus this, and you just kind of turn skip them. It's cheeky, but I'd rather play Ceruli over this for the Silva play, because Ceruli summons itself to their side of the board, and then you discard a card. So it's similar, but you can rip 2 cards out of the hand. You can rip up to 4 on the same turn, which is gross, which is basically a turn skip. And it's a Dark World monster. It's also a fiend, so it's useful for the other card effects in your deck. Whereas if you draw this early, you're like, I didn't want to see that. So that was the extra spice stuff. That was all the monsters. For spells, we got the 3 field spell. I wish you could play 2 of this, but 3 comes up. Because Because if you draw this, like 2 of these in a Genta, you're like, ooh, I drew 3 field spells.
Yeah, I ain't gonna do anything as much.
2 of the fusion card. The fusion card's really, really good. I want to test, especially in the next list. The next list is going to only have 1 of these because it's searchable via snow. And you turbo your deck so fast you see almost everything. The other option is to play 1 Foolish Burial the Goods. So you can Foolish Burial either this or this. Because during the combo you make Griffin, so you can set this at the end of your turn.
Yeah.
Or if you need the targeted discard from your hand, because this can add itself back, you can send this. So I definitely want to try it in the next list where you play 1 and then 1 Foolish Burial the
I need
Goods.
to pick up goods today.
Yeah, so 1 Foolish Burial the Goods possibly. The other spells, this one, you can only resolve it once, so that's why it's at 1, but it's really, really nice, especially if you have 2 Brow in your hand. If you control a Dark World and you activate this, you can use the effect to discard the Brow. So you go Brow effect to draw 1, so that's 1 card. And then you chain this, discard the other Brow to draw 2 more cards, so that's 3. And then the other Brow will draw another card. So you turned 2 Brows into 4 different cards.
Oh my
It's
lord.
kind of crazy. Then it's Reborn for a level 4. It comes up a lot, like a ton.
I remember this card.
I use it to resummon snow a lot, so I can bounce it to my hand to summon let's say a Grapha, and then use the snow again. I've used it to summon Genta, so I can return it and add another field spell.
A way to just further your plays, not
And
wasting
then
resources.
in the future, this could be used to summon the level 1 Pearl. The level 1 Dark World is making it in my deck next.
The level
on the,
one.
it's level 1. It says when it's discarded, you can reborn a Dark World from your graveyard, so it's just another monster. And then if it's discarded by your opponent's card effect, you can reborn a monster and then reborn a monster from your banish. So it's a double reborn.
What?
So it seems interesting, especially if you have to double banish Genta. So yeah. And then also, it's really good. The level 1 Pearl is good against what are they called? Bystials. Because the Bystials will target your Grapha, banish it, and then you're like, cool. Summon Cerulea to your side, discard Pearl, summon a guy from your graveyard, and summon the Grapha back. So now your Grapha's back in rotation if it's been Bystilled. So, and then you already saw the track record.
Yep.
That was the main deck. It's a solid 40.
Nice.
Yeah,
40 is the way.
Extra deck, 2 of these. I never need the third one. I always, most of the time, I end up summoning the one already summoned back with Muckraker. So
Oh my
I only play 2 because sometimes you end with a Graph in your hand and you can set the fusion spell again, and then you have a quick effect pop because you discard Grapha. Rank 8s, play 1 Ding. I keep switching between Ding and Zombie Stein. This seems to be more utility for outing cards because I feel like my opener is like, with this deck, it's Griffin, Baron, the Fusion, Muckraker with this trap card set and Necromonic in your hand. So this being able to go second is way better than Zombie Stein being able to go first.
Yeah, understandable.
Even in the other deck, the other deck rips 4 and does the same thing without the Baron, so you're like, okay, cool. And then Coach King, my favorite card to make.
Coach King's plus.
This is one of the cards you really want to make every game. Up to 3 times a turn, you detach 1 to draw, and then you burn for 800. So you just make a pot of greed when you summon this card.
Basically.
Rank 4s, Dugaris, you make this almost, or you should make that every game. And then Flu's really terrible, so
Yeah. So
beat
you hit
Flu
him with the
that card.
Baguska.
yeah.
Put all that stuff in defense.
The 1 Baron, it is getting cut in the next iteration.
Yeah, 'cause
Can't
you're
make
taking
it
out
as
the
consistent.
Sage.
Yeah. You could summon it with Raven, but Raven being able to discard as many as you want is so strong that you almost do it every game, whereas Sage was not as strong. You only ever wanted to do it when you only had like 3 cards in your hand. It was like Brow, Snow, Rainbow. And you were like, oh, I get value out of all 3 of these cards.
Right.
Links, 2 of this card. I make 2 of this card. Not almost every game, but a lot of the time I end up making 2. The summon from hand is very useful. It's just
So
a good card.
good.
Yeah.
Put back the cards you want to draw.
1 Phoenix and 1 Cerberus with Cerulea in the deck. So in this deck, this one doesn't come up as much other than something to link into to get stuff off the board. And then this, funny enough, you can co-link it with Griffin. And so the Griffin the Phoenix and the Muckraker that you make are all co-linked, so they can't be destroyed by battle, which is nice.
Battle or card effects, right?
No, this one's battle, this one's card effects.
Oh, okay.
But this one gains more utility if Cerulee's in your deck, because you can pop the Cerulee that they have, which, if you know your opponent's not on tier, if you pop it and remember the level 1 Pearl that I was talking about, you can reborn Cerulee, and Cerulee makes them discard a card. So if you know they're not on tier,
right, and you're just like,
you can do that game too, and you're like, I'll take another one. So
start ripping your hand apart.
Yeah, they get to choose it, but it's whatever. So these two.
Those open in 5, bro. They hit.
The Link Spider is for the Saruja combo. It might come out because I might not be playing the Phantom Sky Blaster. The Griffin and the Muckraker. Griffin is really good. You can reset the normal spell card. If this is in your graveyard, you can set that. It's really good. And then I want to bump this to 2. This card's so good. After turn 1, if you didn't win the game, you make another one of these, and your opponent's like, I can't do anything.
Yeah, there you go.
And then this card's been in here the entire time. I haven't summoned it once, and I know as soon as I cut it, it'll come up again. But
so it's just one of those, I'd rather have it than not need it than not have it.
The other list, I've cut it for the second Muckraker, so we'll see how that goes.
What about cutting the Link Spider for the second one? Where do you think it comes up?
There's other stuff that I play. Let me see. It's the second Muckraker. Oh, this might have stayed in. I can't remember off the top of my head what I put in.
Understandable.
Yeah. We'll get it to you eventually.
Yeah.
YouTube. For a side deck, this side deck is terrible, and I have some side deck theory that I'll explain and let you all talk about in the comments at the end. 3 Judgment for when I go first. 3 of this for when I can't break boards. Same with this. This is overkill. I just need that.
True. But it's good to see him, though.
Yeah. 3 Twins. Twin is hyper necessary because everyone's activating DeFi, everyone's activating like floodgate cards, so you need to put this in against Flu a lot. And then another card that's really good against Flu is Skill Drain. The majority of your main deck cards do not activate on the board. And let's say against Spright, for instance, I won a game because I bricked going first, but I drew this, I set it past. He goes, Summon Beaver. Effect. I chain this and he goes, oh, I can't play it, pass. And I drew like Genta or something and just Wombo killed him.
Wombo combo, big guy combo.
This, now I'll go into the theory of that side deck thing. This is terrible. What I'm going to do is this is absolutely necessary at 3 because you must destroy DeFi. That's like 100%. This card is 100% at 3 because Spright makes like 18 negates and you can play through it. So those are absolutely necessary. This I'm cutting entirely. Okay, hear me out, YouTube. You can lambaster me in the comments if you want. I'm going to play 3 Dark World Dealings in my side deck. Dark World Dealings is considered terrible, but if your opponent's playing Spright, the worst they can do is send Angler and summon 2 guys, and you're like, okay, Grapha, kill it, Grapha, kill it, and they're like out of stuff to summon. Tier, it's terrible, so you don't side it in, right? It's not that bad. In the mirror match, you don't side it in. But for matches where Dark World Dealings doesn't like help your opponent, you just side 3 of that card in, and that's the best card in your deck, 100%. It cycles you a card, it discards a card, it does everything the deck needs. So I'm gonna play 3 of those. I'm gonna play 1 Judgment.
These word ratios.
1 Skill Drain, and then like 1 Rivalry, 1 Goes In, 1 Imperial. And the reason is I just pick whichever Floodgate is best against my matchup, or 2, and then side in the Judgment for going first. And the reason is if I draw too many side deck cards, so let's say I sided all of these in for going first, and my opener is Judgment this, I already am scared because the other 3 cards have to be legitimately perfect for me to play the game and make my combo. Whereas if I don't draw, if I have just these in my deck and I draw like all Dark World cards, I'm like, cool, I'm going to double Saryuja, I'm going to Coach King for 3, I'm going to do Garrus for 2 more, and you can just go find these during your combo.
Yeah, you can just draw into them.
Yeah, that, and it's synergistic if you play the 1 Foolish Burial of the Goods. Because if you just put 1 of every Floodgate in, or like 1 Floodgate and Judgment, if you draw Judgment, let's say, and you don't have the Floodgate yet, but you find Foolish Burial of the Goods, you can just send this with Foolish, and then set it with Griffin. So like, That's why I want to play the Foolish Burial of the Goods.
theory
It might made
crafting's
it in the
wild.
deck. But yeah, that's the reason you do this. And I mentioned that all of these cards, the dangers and whatnot, are the worst cards in my deck. If you're going first or second, you side out 3 dangers for the 3 Darkwood Dealings. Darkwood Dealings draws you a card and discards you a card, which is what the dangers do, but you get to choose what you discard.
Versus it being
And
random.
it can't be sniped because, you know, that happens to me a lot.
Yeah, I watched them snipe you 3 times. and it's
Yeah,
like,
3
wow.
times in a row with like 20% chance to snipe it each time. It's really tragic. But yeah, these 100%, I'm gonna try 1 and 1, and then again 3 dealings, and then a bunch of floodgates. I haven't picked which ones, but one of floodgates to try and help with that. So
Absolutely.
that is the deck, and of course your side deck should be tailored to your local. If your local has a lot of Flunder, you might just play the 3 of these, because this just craps on Thunder or Plunder really bad. If it's a bunch of tier, maybe you don't even side the dealings. Maybe you side like Bestials. But
Bestials, you can help even bring back the deep areas too. And play the 1 and it just turns them off for a turn, depending. It's really depending on what your local says.
yep.
All
Yeah,
right,
that's
Chase.
the deck.
Thank you. We appreciate you. If you have any suggestions or anything, put in the comments below.
Yep.
Thank you.